I truly am humbled. I called her for 2 or 3 times and said, Pam, you're never going to sell tickets to this. Boy, was I wrong. And you have touched me. And I am humbled. I've been at EB 40 years. And I love it. And I loved every minute of it. And contrary to what Steve said, I really thought that my staff got a real kick out of me when I called it Square Bob Sponge Pants, however you say it. And the whole staff would laugh, and I'm like, hey, yeah. So then finally John Lang brings me in this little doll you shake, and it had that, hey. And he goes, hey boss, I hate to break this to you, but you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And I said, well, I know who Patrick the Starfish is. And it went downhill from there. But I look at the success I've had at Electric Boat, and I really attribute that to 3 P's. The process, the product, and the people. And Electric Boat is an amazing company. It has a legacy of over 100 years. It has treated me with dignity, and the process and how we build submarines, the rigor, the technical acuity, the tradesmen, the opportunities, the process is what sustained me. I also will tell you that I went through 2 medical crises in my life. Both were self-inflicted. One was a brain swelling encephalitis, where my wife thought I would never go back to work, and that I would, as a 35-year-old, be wearing Depends to bed every night. But I got through it, and you know what? EB was there for me. I never missed a check. I had people call me. Sometimes I never remembered they called me, but they called me. They stayed in touch with me. The process worked. And then a few years ago, I went through pneumonia, fell down, dislocated my big toe, broke my ankle, had my gallbladder removed, broke some ribs. All because of a beard. No Shave November got me. But the process was always there for me. The second P is the product. I have dedicated my life to the submarine service. I have become and always wanted to be an evangelist for the SubSafe program. And I've tried, and I think I have succeeded. Because I look around this room today, and Ben, you are right. We are going to be okay. The team at EB gets it. There was only one, actually there's 2 submarines that were lost, nuclear submarines that have been lost. Thresher on April the 10th, 1963, and Scorpion, also a tragedy, but that ship was not SubSafe certified. Probably a big mistake that the Navy at the time made, but 99 souls perished, along with the 129 souls that perished on Thresher. And Ken's right. I happened to be listening to a symposium that Al Ford gave way back in 1983. And Al, who was who went on to become my great mentor, and I will tell you that I received a letter from him this week that brought me to tears. He and I have the same DNA. We were dedicated to the submarine force. But he said to me into the room that the loss of Thresher, the further we become removed from that tragedy, the more likely it is to happen again. And for those of us that do not study history, we are doomed to repeat it. And that lit a spark in me that just gave me that will and desire. And I've lived for that. And I've talked to many, many people throughout Electric Boat. And the story never grows old. And we cannot and we will not ever let that happen again. And that, I am proud to say, will be what I want to leave all of you. The other thing with the 3 Ps is people. Now, I came to Electric Boat, actually my wife got me the job. A gentleman in HR called, said, hey, and my wife said, he's a smart engineer and we want to get the hell out of him. Because at the time we were living in Newport News, Virginia, and I was working for the shipyard down there. And Jane said, he's a smart guy, you should hire him, and we want to get the hell out of Virginia. We just had a little redhead boy, and we didn't want him growing up with a southern accent. And I came to Electric Boat, and I was in the career development program. I learned how to weld. I learned how to fit pipe. The line stepped back and I didn't, and I got volunteered for QA. I learned how to do magnetic particle testing, radiography, quality inspection. I found out years later that Jerry Doyon was sent to that class to spy on these kids, these 90-day wonders, to see if we were going to make it. But I'll tell you, I look back on it now, the backbone of our company is the tradesmen and women. They make it happen. They also can make life tough for me. I learned innumerable lessons from those people. I do have to say, though, they took me for a ride many times. I moved my ship office out of inspection. At the time, we were on a barge. And I moved down to the ship, which was totally foreign. My inspectors just had wanted no part of that. So they ran me around the ship for about 3 weeks. Little did they know, they were teaching me what a submarine was. But one inspector said to me, hey Jim, just remember in the submarine you gotta keep going up. But I had a general foreman by the name of Bob Dreamer. And Bob was a crusty old timer. He had a permanent seat in the bar room across the street. And back then, in those days, you didn't get a seat unless you were a regular and an old timer. And his message to me was, Jim, leaders don't do great things or accomplish great tasks. What they do is get people to accomplish great tasks and great things, and they get rewarded for it. And that stuck with me from then on, and that was my mantra. I have to say, I think it worked, Bob. Hopefully you're at the bar way up in heaven right now having a Boilermaker with a pack of Pall Malls. 8 of the people that have worked for me over the years have been promoted to director. So I feel good about that. I've made that accomplishment. Hopefully, before I'm done with whatever I'm doing here on Earth, one of my team members might even become a vice president. And then I will have achieved total satisfaction. And then I look at the people. We've talked a little bit about the certification group. And yeah, we did eat a lot of pizza. Matter of fact, Harry would call the pizza house and they'd say, "Yes, Harry." And I always got a cheese. No, I didn't want to go way overboard. And I do remember getting pizza maybe 3 or 4 times a day. The place called Pizza Today, that is because of us. Their pizza sucks. Oh boy, at 1 o'clock in the morning, and they're the only game in town, it was good. But I gotta tell you, the team that we certified submarines to, we were all brothers and sisters from different mothers. That was a family. And even though we left Steve alone one night, and we all went home, and the boat came back. Well, actually, that's correct, Steve. There were 2 times. You did certify a GN. We gave you the keys. You were there until 3 in the morning, went home, was fast asleep. NAVC called up and said, "You guys have open documentation. Clark up!" So he comes waltzing in about 2 in the afternoon. Hey, I certified my first submarine. We're like, "No, you didn't yet." But all kidding aside, the people are what makes us the great company we are. In our partnership with the Navy, it's been rocky at times. But I'll tell you, Tom, you and I always had the same mission in mind. The safety of those men and women that operate nuclear submarines. And when you think about it, I've had the distinct pleasure, as Ken mentioned, of talking to our vendors, talking to our employees about what we do and why we do it. But I feel an inner peace that was vindicated by Despina Matakos and Peggy Holbrook and Chris Yaris. Let me give you a little bio on that. Chris was the medic on board Hartford when it collided in the Straits of Hormuz. The ship was flipped on its side and brought right up. We were this close to losing another nuclear submarine, and he survived that. And the reason why is because of the dedication and the hard work by all of us. And Chris was able to find 2 of the 4 welders that had welded the original sail on that boat, which was bent over, and go up to them and shake their hand and say, "Thank you for doing your job well." That was amazing. Despina, her husband was a master chief on board a ship.
Chief.
She never, ever thought, if a boat is coming home, it's only when the boat is coming home. And they missed holidays and they missed anniversaries, but she vindicated for me what it meant to know that your loved one would always come home. And Peggy, you are a national hero. Her husband, when her husband was first deployed, her young daughter was in diapers. And by the time he came back, because he was a much treasured and needed deployment officer, her daughter didn't know who her dad was. And as the khaki suits got off the ship, she asked Peggy, "Is that my mom? Is that my dad?" "No." "Is that my dad?" Can you imagine the dedication that the families of the sailors, both men and women, go through to support the defense of the country that we all love and stand for, that allows us, no matter what our political party, our ideology, whatever, it allows us to seek to have that freedom. And Peggy, I cannot imagine going through that. But the thing that I think we all played a role in is we always knew that your husband was coming home. We didn't know when, but we knew he was always coming home. The last of the 3 Ps is my family. What an amazing, they have made it so easy for me. They are an amazing, my son Jim, a gifted actor. He's doing some things that are amazing. He graduated from 2 Ivy League schools, was the top in his class, lives in New York with his husband Joshua, who is my son, not my son-in-law. So not only did I pick up a son in that deal, I picked up 2 amazing humans. They are amazing. And I'm so, so proud of both of you. You make me get out of bed every day. And I love you both for that. And you're amazing. My son Ryan, when he was young, he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. He took a tragedy and turned it into an amazing gift. He has become a world-class athlete. I do 150 miles in my truck following him on his bike. Can you believe it? And I'm exhausted. He's amazing. He made it so easy for me. And Pam, I gotta tell you a little story. On the last day at Electric Boat, Ryan called my office at about 2:30, like he had done his entire career in high school. And he was disappointed that I answered. He said, "Where's Pam?" Because every time he'd call, he'd find me. And he and I would talk in kibitz about the day. And I treasure those moments forever. Then it gets even better. My daughter, not my daughter-in-law, Kate, she's amazing. She will have the birth of our 3rd grandson, our 3rd grandchild, our 2nd grandson, in March. And that is the gift of life. And I just cannot wait